So, today's question is, you can dance and you can sing and you are funnier than Jerry Lewis. Some of you are too young to know who Jerry Lewis is. I hope you looked him up. Okay. Now, because of Jim Crow, though, you can't perform just anywhere because, segregation. Also, you're black and white people don't like you. Yeah. How do you get your name out there? Where do you perform? Um, your grandmother's house, that would be a good place. But she's got plastic on the couch and she's going to make everybody take off their shoes at the door. And you're still going to charge them admission. Who's going to pay for that? The local church. Uh-huh. But yeah, it's the 40s and the 50s and they don't want that devil music in the church. Yeah. So the answer would be C, the Chitlin Circuit. Yeah, I hope everybody chose Chitlin Circuit. I didn't misspell it. It's Chitlin. Yeah. Okay. Jim Crow segregation limited where black artists could perform and travel safely. And the Chitlin Circuit provided a venue, it provided safe lodgings, and it provided food. Think of it like a tour of black musicians that occasionally had to outrun murderous, racist white people and the Klan if they were in the South, in some parts of the Midwest. Yeah. It was made up of nightclubs, dance halls, juke joints, and theaters. It was in the South and on the East Coast and some parts of the Midwest. Black musicians, comedians, and other performers flourished at these welcoming venues in an era of Jim Crow. And notice I said welcoming. Yeah. White venues were not welcoming. This is why we had the Chitlin Circuit. White venues would not book them. If you watched movies like The Dreamgirls, the Temptations movie, the Jackson 5, What's Love Got to Do with It, the Five Heartbeats, you have seen a depiction of the Chitlin Circuit. Most of the Motown artists from the 40s, 50s, and 60s came up on the circuit. Actually, most of the black artists from that time came up on the circuit. Genres like the blues, jazz, rock, and soul musicians and singers like Billie Holiday, Louis Armstrong, B.B. King, all associated with the circuit. Other artists like James Brown, Ray Charles, Aretha Franklin, Jimi Hendrix, Gladys Knight and the Pips, Diana Ross and the Supremes, the Jackson 5, Marvin Gaye, all of them came up on the circuit. You would be hard-pressed to find a black entertainer in the early 20th century who did not perform on the circuit. Preston Lauterbach, author of the Chitlin Circuit and the Road to Rock and Roll, says the Chitlin Circuit was black people making something beautiful out of something ugly. Whether it's making cuisine out of hog intestines or making world-class entertainment despite being excluded from all the world-class venues, all the fancy white clubs, and all the first-rate white theaters. Because remember, white venues would not book them. So black people made something beautiful out of something ugly, because that is what we have been doing since we landed in this country, making something beautiful out of something ugly, and we made the circuit. And from the circuit, you got world-class entertainment that you stole their music. You stole their rhythm, you stole their rhyme, and you made money off of them and gave them nothing in return. But I digress. For those who don't know, chitlins are pig intestines, that part of the pig that the slave owners didn't want, so they threw them to the slaves. And they, of course, made a delicacy that some of y'all are trying to deconstruct, knock it off.